feeling ever so fancy tonight.
What, kiddo?
Nah. Oh, Eugene, my mom had a request. She was watching the show last week. She would like you to turn your camera a little bit so she could actually see
something. Your mom joke.
There he is. Hi, Elijah. Oh God, he gets cuter every day.
With his little raspberry face. Oh God.
Yeah, look at all the hair.
He just got a haircut. His baby's first haircut.
Aw. Oh, I know.
Okay, back to what I was doing. Let's find Steve.
Let me lay down a couple of feet pets.
Sounds good.
We're gonna go this week.
Stop chewing on that.
I'm sorry, I'm thirsty.
I'm just so hungry.
I know, right? Alright, so we're gonna do Steve, Infendo.
You gotta not always use Steve just because he's not here. It's been like 4 weeks that you're just using his voice clips.
I feel like it's in memoriam.
At least do me a favor. At least swap in like a me or a you in one of them.
Fine, Steve will lead us in, and you'll be number 2.
Thank you. Just for the sake of diversity.
Do you want a really easy way to get a hold of us?
Good.
All you've got to do is go to infendo.com, and you can see everything we're up to and get links to everywhere to find us.
Infendo Radio is on now.
Sounds like we're killing it then.
God, that is such a good intro song, dude.
It so is.
It works so well. It's just immediately we're energized, we're pumped, we're ready to do the show.
I mean, why did I stop it? Let's keep going. That's a really, really good game. If I didn't say it already, I'll play with you this weekend if you want, because that sounds fun.
Oh God, that's loud.
I'm pretty sure that's actually Ribbon Girl's voice actress too. Who
Oh,
does
is
that
it really?
scene. Yeah, because sometimes she comes in on the menu like every like 4th or 5th time.
Oh, sure.
And that's how we drove all of our co-hosts away again.
Right? He's just like mesmerized by your hat and your
he needs to learn that there are insane people like me out in the world. He can never be too careful. Also, I've watched like almost all of Orange is the New Black now, so I've picked up that thing that Crazy Eyes does where she's like...
Are you done with it then? Are you caught up?
I am at the end of season 6, but season 7 is not available on Google yet, only on Netflix. So I'm hoping my parents haven't finished season 6 yet, and I can just watch season 7 at their place.
There you go. Yeah, and then season 8 should be coming out too soon, the last season.
Is it? I thought it ended at season 7.
Well, whichever one is just came out. What is happening in your season?
Seasons. See, I don't want to say because I know my parents watch the stream. I don't want to spoil anything for them. I'll talk to you about it after the show.
Fair. That is very fair. Yeah, I know that maybe it's out already and I missed it, but I know that there was supposed to be one final season from the one that I've seen. So maybe it's already out, and I'll be excited.
Stay tuned. Yeah, I think I read that 7 is the last season, but I don't know. So honestly, they could have ended it at season 6. Things ended pretty roughly at season 6. But
same. I feel the same way, my friend.
There was a show on. I'm sorry, guys. We're vamping a little bit here. One of our co-hosts that's supposed to be on just disappeared, so we're kind of waiting for him to jump back in. So in the meantime, you get to hear all this stuff. There was this show on Disney Channel a long time ago, Gravity Falls, that was really good. And they actually ended it after 2 seasons, not because it wasn't doing well, but because the creator was like, I told my story and I'm done and I want to move on. And I was like, respect. Although it took them like 4 years to do the like finale episodes, which were like 4 half-hour episodes. So that was
I'm pretty sure that show has like a pretty cult following, because you're not the first person I've seen.
It was pretty popular.
Yeah,
you should check it out sometime. It's literally like a 10-hour time sink, because it's just, it's a cartoon, so each episode is like 30 minutes and there's like 24 episodes, so you could watch the whole thing if you're into cartoons. I mean, it's not for everyone, it's not like it's an adult cartoon.
We definitely are. We watched the whole of Avatar and like Korra, like all that stuff. That's kind of our jam.
Adventure Time was really good.
See, I never did Adventure Time. I wonder if I missed out on that one.
It was a good time. I liked it. It got a little weird toward the end, but it was still pretty good all the way through. I finally caught up with it after like 10 years, so that was nice. Sure. And Steven Universe was really good, but it got like progressively worse, I felt, as it went on. Like everything started to feel really rushed, and they were just like shoving stuff in for the sake of shoving stuff in, and it was like...
You're like, okay, guys.
I think Cartoon Network has like a weird way of doing that stuff in general. Like I've heard horror stories from Nickelodeon. Like they won't keep any show on unless it's as successful as SpongeBob, and no show will ever be as successful as SpongeBob. So like, I think Korra actually got in trouble for that. Like they got booted pretty quickly.
And then there was like and I don't know the exact how it worked, but like I know that the last season I think was only available to stream like online or something like that. So
they did an Invader Zim movie on Netflix last year, which was just amazing. That was like my childhood revisited. But Steven Universe got a really raw, like weird deal where like you get like an episode every like 4 months kind of thing. And they just like release like 2 or 3 episodes every few months, and you could tell that it was just kind of in development hell,
Sure.
Anyway, next up on our TV podcast, we'll be talking about television. What's your favorite type of TV? Do you like a nice, a thick old box kind of TV, or are you more into those smooth digital numbers?
So let me tell you what we've been watching lately, Lucas. We are on a Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul kick.
So that's a good kick to be on.
We finished the last season of Breaking Bad, or Better Call Saul, that was on, which was so good. So then we're like, okay, what the hell? Let's go watch all of Breaking Bad. And we're on season 4, like the last episode of season 4.
Have you watched El Camino?
No, and Heather hasn't actually watched the last episode of Breaking Bad either. Because do you remember how it actually took like a year hiatus between like so she hasn't watched the last episode yet. So we're gearing up for that.
After you finish it, you have to watch El Camino, because it is just as good in my opinion. Like it's just a continuation of what happens after it's all over. Like it's worth watching.
Yeah, especially because Breaking Bad kind of left Jesse's tale somewhat untold. So I'm hoping that Breaking Bad or El Camino is able to fill in those gaps.
Very much will fill in those gaps. Yes, it's basically it basically does for Jesse's story what the last like 4 or 5 episodes did for Walt's story at the end of Breaking Bad. Like same level stuff.
Sure. Justin just messaged that he is on his way, so that is good.
Excellent.
I guess while we're waiting, I will remind you to turn on your Audacity if you don't have it.
Oh, I've been recording this entire
Yeah, me too.
thing.
I guess I should record the Zoom call, huh? Let's do that.
That would help. I'm at the 10-minute mark right now.
Oh, mother! I'm only at 6. Maybe.
Hey, you'll have plenty of material to edit.
You're right.
Hang on, I can make this better by putting a card in my hat.
And I like that it's a magic card too. Nice touch. Well done.
What I've got.
It's what I've got.
Okay, so
before
Eugene,
you say anything, you should probably know that we are live on Twitch.
Okay, hi Twitch. So I'm giving you a choice here. I can record on my blue snowball, but since there's a chance I might end up yelling at the dog occasionally, I could also record on this headset
I probably would
which has a mute button.
I would prefer the snowball because I'm sure the headset quality is not going to be near as good, unfortunately.
Okay, well, so that just means you're going to have to do some editing.
Not like there's any change from any other week, Justin. You ready to? Are you recording?
Yes.
All right, let's get clapping in 3, 2, 1.
Clap, clap, clap.
Justin, where are you at?
240.
Okay, Lucas.
1147.
All right. If you're coming up here, you need to be good.
Okay.
All right, and then
This
since
is
we're
not
already
good.
running behind, let's get rolling. Try your best, Justin, not to talk about the dog during the show type of thing, but you know.
Talking about the dog isn't so much an issue. Talking to the dog might be a necessity.
Just pretend that she's not there.
All right, let's get rolling in. Actually, you know what? Let me pause real quick since Heather just got here. I'm going to give her the kiddo, so I'll be right back.
That's okay, because Eugene was about to count down, and we already did that. So,
So have you seen the thingy yet about Pokemon Unite? I have a feeling we're going to be talking a lot about that at the top of the show. Well, now we'll be able to find out during the show.
There's nothing about Pokemon that I am like terribly
Pokemon
afraid
Dota.
of hearing. So
That's what we're going to be talking about.
all right.
Well,
All right, let's go. Right now. Oh, wait, no. I didn't push the record on this button here. Okay, we're recording there. Now we can go.
Do you want a really easy way to get a hold of us? All you've got to do is go to Infendo.com, and you can see everything we're up to and get links to everywhere to find us.
Creating overwhelming urges to buy Nintendo crap since 2005. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio. It is time for the show, and I'm excited that I have Justin and Lucas with me here tonight. How are you doing tonight, Justin?
I'm doing good. I missed last episode because we had a puppy. I'm hopefully going to survive this episode even with the puppy. So
Fair. Lucas, how are you doing this evening?
I'm also doing good, and I currently have 0 puppies.
Well, 0 puppies, but +1 hat and 1+1 tingle that I see in the background. So I think you're doing fine. I think you're doing just fine.
I never go anywhere without my tingle.
Fair. I mean, why would you? That's, it's a necessity. We have a great show for y'all tonight. We have some news to talk about in Pokemon. We have some games to talk about in, well, I know. You guys know what we've been playing. I don't know if anybody's been playing anything new, but I know Justin has been building some stuff new that he'll be talking about and change the system, so that's exciting. But before we get too far, we're going to want to make sure that we thank all of our patrons that brought the show to you, not only this show, but for the entire month, because it is the last episode of the month, so we want to make sure we give a shout out to each and every one of our patrons. So we will start with Apollo Lemon, Mustard Giant Cow, Mark Nowak, Jonathan Lewis, Daniel Gaskin, Metal Mike, Shine Down, Michael Larson, Schnazzy1, Sky Farrow, Colton Malik, I think, Minus 64, damn it, Phantom, Slacker Monkey, Andrew Searson, and the Brianosaurus. And I will reiterate who our executive producers are because, again, they are executives. So thank you again one more time to Minus 64, Phantom, Slacker Monkey, Andrew Searson, and the Brianosaurus. We really, really do appreciate your patronage. We are going to take a little break, though. We'll be right back, and on the other side, we will have changed the system. switch. We're back. Let's find another awesome track. Maybe Ribbon Girl. Yeah, let's go with Ribbon Girl. And then let's go with not Steve because Lucas yelled at me.
The sassy bitch.
And let's go with fucking Lucas because he wants to hear himself talk. Actually, I don't want to hear myself talk. So if if it's going to be anybody else, it's definitely going to be you.
That's the danger zone we're in right now. You don't want to hear yourself talk, and you're like obsessed with playing Steve because he's not here. So all we're getting is Steve all the time.
Okay, fine. I guess I get your point. All right, we're going back. Here comes Lucas. Oh, wait, that's too quiet, I think.
Here I come.
That also sounds very familiar, like we just heard it.
Oh, that's too loud, huh? How are we? Better?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's see how that sounds with Lucas.
Can't get enough of Infendo Radio? I do Infendo.com and see everything else you're up.
I think it needs to go down a little bit.
Yeah.
Phenomena.
Okay, that should do it.
Can't get enough of Infendo.
Perfect. All right, let's do it, gentlemen.
And lady. Can't get enough of Infendo Radio? I do Infendo.com and see everything else we're up to.
Well, we're back, and it's time to change the system. Before we do, though, I want to talk about news because there are some news items at hand. Mainly Pokemon. I don't know if there was anything else news that you guys wanted to touch on first because I'm guessing that most of the news is going to be Pokemon Unite. But yeah, what you guys got news-wise other than Pokemon, if anything?
Pokemon Unite! Yeah, so the only other real news I've got coming out of the woodworks these days is that SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated came out yesterday, and it's gotta be the best
remaster subtitle ever.
This is a game that I very much enjoyed my short time with as a child. I remember it being like playing a SpongeBob cartoon. Like all the voice actors are there and everything. It's just quality game. So I'm very much looking forward to kind of diving back in, no pun intended, to that experience. But I have yet to pick it up. I actually have a different old remastered game that I am about to start playing, but I also haven't started playing that. So we'll save that for next week, I suppose.
You know, I've never played any of the SpongeBob games, and I've heard that Battle for Bikini Bottom is a really good one, and that I'm very curious. I might wait for it to go on sale and pick it up because that was really kind of the golden age of licensed games. That was when they weren't complete crap. There were still very few gems, but they were doing a decent job of making licensed games then.
I would highly recommend it. It is a very GameCube era 3D platformer. So
that
very
makes
much worth.
I when you say that, I know what that means. You know,
yeah,
right.
with collectathon elements too, kind of an open world in different levels kind of thing. Worth the price of admission. So definitely on my list of games to play, just not at the top.
Sure. I guess the only other bit of news. Sorry. I was gonna say the only other bit of news that I mean, obviously, is the Minmin Reveal. I don't know if we talked about that because I think that was Monday, right? So we couldn't.
Yeah, that was since our last episode. So
yeah, so that Minmin's coming to Smash. That's kind of cool.
Solid choice. I'm a little disappointed that I really thought it was going to be Springman and Ribbon Girl and Minmin and Ninjago, Lego Ninjago. But I figured they were going to do like 2 skins each kind of thing for that. They didn't, but that's fine. Minmin's a solid choice. I think she's really popular, and she's one of the original, like the OG 4 characters or so that were in the game.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody watch the reveal about like how she's gonna play or anything like that?
I tried. It was very cinematic. They did show her fighting in game, but it was very edited camera angles and punching and kicking to the beat and stuff. So probably going to be a little bit before we really get a taste of how she actually,
Well,
performed.
he was kind of showing how it worked.
Yeah, Sakurai did a whole.
I can't believe how he plays with
how he
two-
fights himself.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
See, I didn't see that. I just saw the reveal trailer. So
Yeah, so he was basically showing how she's gonna work, and it's gonna be freaking awesome, I think, actually. So
what she
instead
did-
of
With each DLC character, they get more technical. It's like
totally.
it's almost to the point. It's like when you add expansions to a trading card game, you risk like breaking the original set because there's like Mario, Link, Samus. They're all so kind of simple and bare bones, and all of these DLC characters are like super technical.
Well, this
Right.
is all very interesting, but for those of us who don't know how she plays, I would love to hear it.
So basically how it's going to work is she's not going to play like a traditional Smash character where A is like, your regular attack and B is your special move. How it's going to work is A is going to be left punch and B is going to be right punch, or like kind of, vice
very
versa type of
cool.
thing. And then what you can do with your down B is you can switch your arm to a different, configuration type of thing. Yeah, so I'm excited.
And
Does she?
and there's also a difference between whether you tap the button or hold
Correct.
the button. So if you
does
tap,
she?
if you tap, she kicks.
Does she have a way to one of Minmin's signature things, and the reason she was a fun character to play as an ARMS, is when you would charge your attacks, her left
Yep.
arm would become dragon, and it would
Yep.
have a permanent charge until she took damage. That
So
carries
how?
over
So
into
you can
Smash.
you can charge your dragon. You can charge all of the arms, but you can charge your dragon punch. And what that one does specifically is it shoots out the laser at the end. So yeah.
But does her left arm get like a permanent boost until she takes damage, kind of thing? Because that would be a really
Oh
cool.
no, I don't think that is a thing. Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing because he was getting really technical into it.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to
And
check
it's
it out
so
and
hard-
find out.
I'm sorry, I'm one of those
Subtitles.
dub over sub people who, if there is something that I actually want to be looking at on the screen, I hate having to read subtitles, and I wish that there had been a dubbed version so I could hear what he was describing as he was doing it, instead of reading really quickly and then trying to look up.
yeah, so I am over the moon excited for this one. It looks like there's going to be a update to Smash Brothers next week to version 8.0. So I hope that comes with Minmin right away to go. So yeah, I couldn't be happier.
What I'm hoping for is that, because they announced there were going to be 6 characters in this one, right? I'm
Yes.
hoping that Minmin wasn't a late addition and that they decided to add her in because, I don't know, maybe they're working on ARMS 2 or something and they want to get some of that ARMS love in there. I'm hoping that Minmin has been planned since the beginning, and round 2 of the DLC is going to focus on characters or series that are already in Smash that maybe need more representation, as
sure.
opposed to like third-party series like Castlevania or So
I mean,
I
there
say
is-
that, but I say that, but I still want a new Sonic character. I just don't want. I just don't want like Raiden or The Witcher or Dragonborn. Like I want to add to the games that are already represented. I'd like characters from.
That makes
Series
sense.
of
So,
already
like,
is.
from what I understand, and there's just like deep opacity in how Project Sora does their thing. So this is pretty much all like speculation. But my understanding is that Byleth and Minmin were planned from like the original release of the game, but they weren't ready yet, so they became DLC characters. And also there's probably some sort of the third party companies getting represented wanted their characters out at a certain time, so Nintendo
Sure.
probably had to cave to that. But I am happy to see this guy. I've never played ARMS. I have absolutely no familiarity with the character or the gameplay, but this character has me excited because
Yeah.
she is something completely different, and it's making me kind of want to get ARMS. I think next time it goes on sale, I'll dive
Get
into
it, man. It's a good game, and you have a group of 2 people who would love to play some party matches with you. It's more fun
A
with
huge group of 2.
Hey, but it's it's better than none, I guess.
Right.
And ARMS is a party game. It is not
totally.
it is not a competitive fighter. There are competitive aspects to it, and you can play it like a competitive fighter. But ARMS is as much of a party game as Smash is a competitive game. If that makes
I
sense.
would
Like,
argue Smash is a party game as much as it's a competitive fighting game. But
I would argue that Smash was built to be competitive with party aspects to appeal to a wider audience. ARMS, I feel, was built to be a party game with competitive aspects to appeal to that competitive fighting base that didn't really latch on.
I would argue that Sakurai has openly disagreed with that.
Time to move on to the next topic because we're running long on this one, and we're going to talk about Pokemon Unite because, man, that's the big news of the day. I was not expecting this at all. What do you guys?
This is honestly the first time hearing of it. So
if you said you were expecting it, you were a dirty liar. So for those of you who are just hearing about it now for the first time, it is a MOBA. Which what would you like? League of Legends, right?
League of Legends or Dota is a good example of that. Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, that's a Pokemon themed MOBA is coming to Switch. God, I really should have done more research on this. I assumed Switch, but for all I know, it's a mobile thing. No, it is coming to Switch.
Yeah, Switch.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's super exciting. I have never been able to get into MOBAs, mostly just because it takes a lot to get me into a genre I'm not interested in, especially a genre that's notoriously free to play, which we all know is just code for pay to play. So yeah, like I've never been able to dive into the League of Legends stuff or anything. I'm kind of like how Minecraft Dungeons has me wanting to play. What's the name of that game? The
Diablo.
Diablo 3. Yeah. So yeah, like it takes kind of a recognizable IP to kind of get me into that genre. Maybe this will do the trick. Maybe I like this so much I dive into other games like this.
I think the coolest part about this is that a MOBA is designed to like have like hundreds and hundreds of heroes or whatever, right?
And we've already got like 870 playable. Yeah, exactly.
So like how they can play it, and I'm sure they've already got their timetable or whatever of release for post-launch. But like how they could play it is like, on month 2, month 1, month 3, whatever, they're releasing another smattering of new Pokemon to kind of keep the meta fresh, No, I think it's could be a really cool game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for sure. I mean,
I haven't watched the trailer on this, but from the sound of it, you play as the Pokemon themselves.
Yes.
Not quite what I was expecting or hoping for, but interesting nonetheless.
So it should probably be said that there is already a slew of controversy around this title.
Controversy regarding a Pokemon game?
I mean, I could say contravesty if you prefer, but yeah, people feel like a lot of people, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people feel like this is a foray into cash grabbing. I would argue that the Pokemon Company has been diving into the cash grabbing bin for quite some time now, with titles like Pokemon freaking
Shuffle,
boxy Pokemon run around and
I would argue.
Oh yeah, there's that one.
I would argue they did that with Sun and Moon too.
Yeah, well, with the DLC. Oh well, hold your horses on that because I'm going to be talking about the DLC ad nauseum in this thing, dude. Well worth it, but. All of those
wait, did I say Sun and Moon? No. I'm sorry. I meant the other Pokemon, the previous Pokemon game.
Oh,
what was the last?
I was thinking Sword and Shield. You meant Sun and Moon. Yeah. With Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Very cash grabby, yes. No, this is nothing unusual from my perspective. I mean, Pokemon. Let's be real. It is one of my favorite series of all time. So much so that I have another podcast on it that you all should totally listen to called Hyper Voice. But it has been a cash grab since day one, right? I mean, South Park made fun of it like 20 years ago, right? The whole premise of it is get kids hooked on these creatures and have them buy all the toys and the cards and the movies and the music. And it worked. An entire generation grew up worshiping Pokemon like a religion. So
much so that Pokemon pretty much became a marketing scheme going forward. Like it was a type of thing that may have existed in Japan, but certainly wasn't a worldwide thing until Pokemon.
People love Pokemon. So yeah, no, it falls in line with it for me. I mean, let's wait and hear how much everything costs, right? Before we start diving into this. If it's absurd, if it's like Crash Team Racing level absurd, then yeah, we can be a little outraged, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not the type of person who's susceptible to buying every single thing in sight, hopefully you'll play it and enjoy it and it'll be a good time. But I'm tentatively relatively excited about this. Could be kind of fun to square off with Steve in a war, you know?
Sure.
I mean, I'm one of those people who plays these. I'm assuming it's a free to start from the sound of things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, and I'm one of those people who plays these free to start games and almost never invests any additional money into them. Like I've probably put maybe like $20 into Pokemon Go. I know I've bought a few cars, and well, Rocket League wasn't free in any sense of the word, but you know what I mean. But like this is the type of thing that, as long as the business model isn't Mario Kart Tour level of ridiculous, I could probably play this and get my fun out of it and never feel the need to spend money on it.
There was a cell phone game, actually, that was out a few years ago that I used to play with Mike McSurdy a lot, Pokemon Duel, that I loved, and this is kind of bringing back some memories of that. Pokemon Duel was a little bit more, it was like figurines that you would move around on a battlefield, and they would square off, and there would be a roulette that would spin, and it would determine your actions. A little bit less, I guess, RPG-ish than this, but very similar vibes, and I loved Pokemon Duel. So much so that I actually made it to the highest rank in online, which is rare for me because online gaming generally freaks me out to the point where like I get too stressed to play, but I really like that. So I'm optimistic, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic as well because I've seen what things like League of Legends and Dota can do to people, and I hope that doesn't turn into me. No, but for real though, like this could be not only a really fun game, it could turn into something like an esport, right? Because like people go to like the international for Dota and like watch people play Dota, you know, like this could turn into a thing if Nintendo helps it along to be that, but we'll see. Anyways, I think it's time to transition into some of the games that we've been playing this last week. So I'm going to toss it to Justin first. I know he's actually been tinkering in a bit, so I'm interested to hear what he's got for us.
I had my hand raised, sir. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, I'm mostly like, as far as games are concerned, I only have one new thing to talk about.
Oh, how interesting!
And I only played it for about 5 minutes, but I did download Star Wars Episode 1 Racer the moment I found out it existed. I loved this game on the N64. I loved it so much I bought it again on the Dreamcast, which actually was kind of a disappointing port because it was literally just kind of like a ROM dump of the N64 version, terrible mono sound and all, just up-resed. And unfortunately, that's basically all this is, but on the plus side, it's only $15. It's downloadable. It's in widescreen in HD, and it plays exactly like it did back in 1999. And this is like, if you want an F-Zero fix, this is a pretty close approximation. This game is super fast, super technical, gets pretty challenging towards the end. One of my favorite things about it, and I had forgotten about this aspect until I played it today, it's not just a hold accelerator and turn left and right. There's actually a kind of a throttle and some strategy to how you use it. If you push forward on the joystick, you will go faster, but of course your range of motion is not as good. If you pull back on the joystick, you'll slow down a little bit, but you'll be able to take turns sharper. So there's some strategy in how you control your pod racer, and like, it's not a, I mean, back in the day this was a beautiful game because there was just so much stuff and it was going by so fast. Obviously now that doesn't survive, but when you up-res it to 1080p and 60 frames per second, it kind of balances out in graphical quality. This is probably going to be one of those games that I'll turn on and play for 5-10 minutes every once in a while, just get in a race or two. But I think it's definitely going to be worth the $15 I spent on it. If it doesn't sound like your thing, I would still recommend it, but maybe wait for a sale. I'll have more to say on that next week. Mostly what I want to talk about are things, including these things that I'm wearing. I spent a little. I got a little bonus money at my job a while back, and didn't know what I was going to use it on, and finally decided I want new earphones for gaming. So I went on Amazon and I bought these. I've been using them for a few weeks. They are the Razer Kraken Tournament Edition THX earphones. They were about $80. I bought them because what I really wanted was a pair of headphones with surround sound. Because playing with headphones, you miss a lot of that spatial sound that you get with I've got a 5.1 surround sound. It's actually a 7.1 when I have the other speakers out. And I miss having that because most of my gaming is done at night when the kids are asleep and my wife's sitting on the couch behind me. So I got these. As far as sound quality, like sound fidelity, they are excellent. Sounds are very crisp. I find a lot of cheap headphones get a little too bassy and mellow, and I love a lot of bass, but every once in a while you need some of those high, some high-end sounds to really kind of pull it all together, and these have that. They have a really good dynamic range. Playing Red Dead Redemption and hell, even Animal Crossing, you get a real sense of space and environment with these things on. The main downside I found is, as far as the surround sound aspect of them, you have to use an adapter, and the adapter has to be compatible with the system you're playing it on. So unfortunately, it doesn't work on the Xbox One. Definitely doesn't work on the Switch.
I was gonna say not the Switch.
I don't know if it would work with PS4. It's pretty much just a PC only sort of
USB
aspect.
adapter or something.
Yeah, it's a USB adapter that does the whole 5.1 discrete channel spacing. I haven't noticed whether it does a matrix surround sound or if it just kind of uses what do they call it? I can't remember the term for it, but the sound where basically two speakers make it sound like surround sound. But I mean, they sound good. They're comfortable. They have a microphone, so it's useful for when I'm talking on the phone. I would recommend them if you're looking for a pair of good earphones. Also, they have a microphone thing on them, so you can plug them directly into your Switch and use it for voice chat for the games that support it.
That's cool.
The other bit of swag I got recently is this little beauty. It is an official gold N64. I bought it off of eBay. It is from Japan, which means it cannot play North American cartridges. Luckily, I have a good friend with a 3D printer, thank you Shinazi One, who printed out a region-free cartridge base for me. Took this thing apart this afternoon, swapped it out, put it back together, and I now have a region-free, genuine gold N64. The reason I got it was the N64 I had, which was the translucent blue, was having issues where the audio was not coming through. It would come through only the left speaker, and I'd have to wiggle the adapter, and it got progressively worse until it never came in stereo. So I'm I figure if I'm gonna have to pay to repair or replace this thing anyway, I may as well get something extra special. So
is the AV on the back of the Nintendo 64?
It's that funky adapter.
I couldn't remember.
They use for the. So I have an HDMI adapter from Hyperkin that works with this, Super Nintendo, and GameCube. Nice. So I can run it through my TV. It looks. I mean, it's not like the Ultra HDMI. Those fancy $150, $300 devices they sell. It's not as good as all that. It was like a $30, $40 cord, but it gets the job done. It has an aspect ratio switch. So, if I'm playing something like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark or Donkey Kong 64, I can expand it to widescreen or keep it pillar box for games that don't play in widescreen. That's pretty much. I also got a new controller. I got nothing to say about it because it shipped with a dead battery. So
nice.
It was a 20th anniversary PlayStation 4 controller. But I gotta get with the seller and get a battery for it. So
fair enough. Well, all right. Well then, Mr. Lucas, I think I'm gonna go first. No, just kidding. Why don't you tell us what you played?
Well, speaking of PlayStation 4, actually a little news I forgot to mention because we are a Nintendo podcast, is Crash Bandicoot 4 got announced last week. So that's exciting. I know the person who should be most excited for that isn't actually here right now. But
Sure.
And the world let out a universal why.
Hey, Crash Bandicoot's pretty popular, dude. And they're kind of retconning the entire series by capping it at 3 and starting over. So that's kind of interesting. Kind of pulling a Terminator. So it's kind of cool to see how they do with that. But first indication, it looks pretty good. Also, a little bit of breaking news that I forgot to mention during the news segment that comes to us from our producer, Brian, is that Vault Boy has been added as one of the costumes in Smash Ultimate for your Mii Gunner, along with a few others. I'm most excited about Callie and Marie. We've got Vault Boy. We've got Tenhachi or someone from that.
Tenhachi from Tekken.
Yeah, that's the one. And there was someone else. Lego Ninjago from ARMS. So yeah, he's going to be a Mii Brawler, I think. So that's cool. But moving on to the games I have been playing, because I have been playing 2 of them. And one of them is kind of interesting, and the other one is super interesting. First one is ARMS. I picked that up again today. And that's kind of why we're listening to ARMS music today. It's still a really good game. I still really like it, and that's about all I've got to say on it right now. Better with friends, but a good game. The other game I've been playing, which you should have guessed, is Pokemon Sword and Shield and the Isle of Armor DLC that came out. Ooh, I really like that game, guys. I really like Pokemon Sword and Shield. In fact, I think it's the best Pokemon game.
I haven't gotten back into it since the DLC launched, but I've been itching to. I've been itching to.
May I make a recommendation?
Hold on, I have to ask a question. How is the wild area-esque thing in the game? Is it wonderful? Oh, yes! Okay,
in fact, I won't spoil anything for you, but there seems to be a one-time event that happens at the beginning when you first go in, where you see a Pokemon off in the distance that you can reach, and just the scale of it is so fantastic. It's
get this game.
It's really nice. It's fun to see. It's fun to see Pokemon that you weren't expecting running around the wild area. They added, only in the Isle of Armor, unfortunately, but they added the ability to have your partner Pokemon follow you around. So you can have a Pokemon out with you running around, and it levels up their friendship meter and everything, which is super fun.
Right.
I highly recommend. So when I did it, I got a team of fighting Pokemon together. I decided, okay, Isle of Armor, the dojo, I'm going to do a fighting. This is going to be like a movie, right? And I'm going to have all fighting Pokemon.
Sure.
Best decision I could have made, because in Sword, your rival uses poison types. And in Shield, in Shield, your rival uses psychic types. So either way, you're at kind of a disadvantage. The Sword rival is amazing, by the way, Clara. Super fun personality. But if you're going to play this DLC, don't go in with a group of level 100 Pokemon unless you're just interested in obtaining the data and moving on. Mm-hmm. If you want it to feel like an extra 5-hour plot added on to your game, go in with Pokemon at about level 60, and you'll be experiencing a story and battling a rival and battling the master and getting your Cubfu and everything.
I'm glad you said that, because I was a little bit worried about the DLC for just that reason, right? Because I have a crap ton of Pokemon that are one shot kill anybody type of thing.
That's the way you want to do it.
So what about somebody like me who will just end up buying the whole package and playing it from the beginning with the DLC included? Am I going to lose something?
I don't know how the scaling works, but I've heard that the Pokemon are at a lower level. If you're at a lower level, it's all based on your badges, so you should be good to go. I would just recommend you don't go in with Pokemon above level 60. If you beat the game and everything, you're pretty much ready to go after the post-game. Don't farm or anything.
Sure.
And this game makes it extremely easy to level up, because there's experience candies and you can feed your Pokemon and just boost them so fast.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in it too. It's super easy to get Watts now, which is nice. It's a lot easier to get those rare balls that used to be apricot balls in Johto. Still hard, but easier. You can actually get them with a lot of luck. I've gotten one so far, and it was a heavy ball, so whoop-de-doo. There's also this is more technical stuff, but we haven't had a chance to talk about this on Hyper Voice yet, so I kind of figure I'll bleed in a little bit. There is somebody on one of the islands that you can swim to that will actually lower all of your Pokemon's, they're called EVs, effort values, basically all the stats that you've gained.
Yeah.
So if like you wanted to build a Blastoise with perfect attack and perfect speed, right? But his stats are all messed up because you played the game like a normal person, you fought all different kinds of Pokemon. You can talk to her, you can pay her some watts or whatever. I forget how much you have to pay her or what it is. She'll erase your stats, and then you can just go and buy a bunch of proteins.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. Because before, the only way to do it was to chunk berries down their throats and like these rare, hard to get berry kind of things. So yeah, it's cool. They also have what Steve described aptly as a Korok mission. There are 151 hidden Diglets around the island that you have to find.
I've seen memes about this Diglett.
I'm up to 137, so I have yet to use a guide. I want to do it pure, but man, they're hard to find. So that's a whole thing. It's just a nice time, and it's fun to be in a new environment. It feels very organic. The wild area was just kind of a field. This is like a beach and a cave and a forest and a desert. You know, there's a lot to explore, even though the total area isn't huge. So I'm very happy with it. I'm having a great time. Looking forward to seeing what the next one has in store.
I'm excited to play Pokemon Sword and Shield again with my new Pokemon that I've transferred over to Pokemon Home, because I don't think I can transfer all of them, obviously, because some of them won't transfer over. But the ones that I can transfer over from, let's see, from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Eevee to Pokemon Home, those are the ones that I want to take to Sword and Shield with me.
Oh yeah, and they've added about 100 new Pokemon in this pass. There's supposed to be, God, I think our final count was about 200, more than 200 in the total DLC, so I guess a lot of them will be coming during the Crown Tundra. But sure. Yeah, the Isle of Armor Pokedex has 200 Pokemon in it, I think. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but it's right around 200. And I would estimate probably about 100 of those are new. So it's nice. Some fan favorites are back. Staryu, Starmie, Chansey. Just a lot of Pokemon. So yeah, it's a very good time. I definitely recommend it. I'm very much looking forward to this being the game that finally beats Breath of the Wild in terms of total playtime on my system.
Oh, wow.
It is already my most played game on my profile, but I played Breath of the Wild for like 40 hours on my Japanese account. So when I sort by time, Breath of the Wild still shows up at the first one. I'm looking forward to Pokemon finally dethrowing it. So this will definitely do it. If not this DLC pack, like the time the Crown Tundra comes out.
I can't believe that it still blows my mind that there's 2 DLC packs for Pokemon, because I remember not like a year or 2 years ago when Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out, we were talking about how pissed we were that it wasn't just like a DLC or whatever, you know? So that's good on it, man.
That's the nice thing, right? You're paying $30 for the DLC pack. Normally you would have paid $60 and you would have had to play through the entire game again. They would have added Clara as like an occasionally occurring NPC in the main story, and then you would have gone to the Isle of Armor and the Crown. And you would have had to beat the entire game a second time.
I was going to say, and you have to start over from Pallet Town or wherever, you know?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly. No, it's nice to see them finally kind of embracing the future a bit, and starting to embrace console gaming too.
Yeah.
That's really been an area they've never touched. So I think a lot of people gave this game a lot of slack, or flack, I guess. Not slack. For not innovating enough. But I think when you really look at it with that perspective, that this is like all new territory for these guys who really have stuck to handheld gaming since like I was 4 or 5 years old.
Sure.
Like, it's a big adjustment, I mean, like it would be like asking me to start working on something in 3D. I have no idea how to do 3D gaming, like I've never delved into it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole nother field. So I'm very happy with this game. I can't wait to see what the next one's like,
Yeah, no doubt. After they've had a whole console generation to get their feet wet type of thing.
Terribly sorry, sir. I know you have to go, and I know we're running extremely late tonight. But one more little piece of news that I read that I found really interesting.
Yes.
I read an interview with the marketing director over at Sega of America, and he had divulged that one of the things that the Sonic team is doing now is they're actually going to start taking more time to develop their games. They've said that, you know, those that year after year after year Sonic game craze when I was in like high school.
Oh yeah.
They said that really contributed to a lack of quality in a lot of the games, so they want to put more time into it. So they were going to have an announcement at South by Southwest. That got delayed. It's now been delayed again, and they're kind of saying that the reason for that is that they're going to, you know, put more time into their stuff. So as a, you know, lifelong Sonic fanboy, I'm happy to hear that, because I would love to play a really high quality Sonic game in a couple of years on my Switch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we got a taste of that with Mania, right? But like, yeah, no, it'd be nice to get back to like well, I don't even know what the benchmark is for like a 3D Sonic, but I always think of like Sonic Adventures as being that, you know, like to get back to like that type of.
Yeah, it'd be, or even something like Colors, you know, just something that feels polished and solid, and you know, you can say you're playing it and be proud of it, kind of thing. So
Sure.
Good on them. I hope they stick to it, and I hope it works out well for them. But I've eaten up more than enough time. Please, Eugene, take us out of this segment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to contribute because we've kind of covered a lot of the stuff that I've been doing, because really, it's all Bug Fables, trying to finish that one up.
See, I haven't even touched it again.
I've slowed down on that one a little bit, and I don't know why. I still like it a lot, but I don't know. It's just a time and place thing maybe for me.
I have a thing that I think I figured out with that. Maybe it's the same for you. I expect so much from it, and I want it to be so good that I feel this need to invest like 100% in it.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time when I'm playing games, I'm not playing them to be there to have an experience. I'm just playing a game to play a game.
To play
right?
the game, right?
And I think I expect so much. Sorry, I expect so much of this game that I really want it to be good. I want to enjoy every minute of it. And I guess I need to really sit down and give myself some time to play a game to play
The
it.
problem with Bug Fables, and I don't know that it could ever get out of its way, right? It's always going to be in the shadow of Paper Mario. So I'm always going to compare everything that it does to Paper Mario, unfortunately. So yeah, you're right. I think that maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, no, Bug Fables is still good. Spent more money in Pokemon Go. I'm not proud of it, but I did. There was a community day and I didn't have any incubators, so I went and bought a box that had a bunch of incubators. So yeah, the Pokemon Go is still a thing, still kind of taking over my life. They've now started to do like events that are happening like every other day type of thing. So like Spotlight Hour, there's like a new Pokemon that is available more often for an hour. So like yesterday it was Clefairy, and I tried my hardest to catch a shiny Clefairy because they just released it and I didn't, and I was so sad. But
if Jigglypuff ever comes up and you get 2 of them, I used to have a shiny Igglybuff back in Gen 2 that I wasn't able to bring all the way over. I would love to get a Jigglypuff back. So
yeah, and we'll talk, because so this is what I've done in Pokemon Go. I've ran out of spaces to collect regular Pokemon anymore, so basically my entire Pokebox is filled with like special event Pokemon or shiny Pokemon. So like, yeah, I have a problem. I don't know what to do, Lucas. It's I don't know why this Pokemon game is the one that's caught its hooks into me, but I can
Sword, so.
Yeah. I could honestly say that I spent more money on Pokemon Go probably than any other game that I can ever think of. You know, I've got to have spent close to $200 on this stupid game.
God, if we ever end up living next to each other, like close to each other, we're playing Pokemon Go together. If the servers are still up.
Yeah, right.
Finally get together.
When they release the 1000th Pokemon finally into Pokemon Go. But no, yeah, I mean, what else is there to say more about Pokemon Go, right? Like, it's still a thing. People are still giving them money. Niantic, just stop being such greedy bastards. That $7.99 event still got me salty, so don't do something like that again. But that's it. That's all I've been playing. I think we're going to take a little break here. We'll be back on the other side with a quick mini game, and we'll answer your questions from the question block. Let me pull up the question block question so we can get that one down. Wait a minute, where'd it go? It's gone now.
Oh, I actually remember it. If we just want to roll with it anyway.
Yeah, then if you want to read it or to say it, then that'd be great because it's.
if he
disappeared.
If he pulled it because he didn't want us to do it, then I can like not use his name. I can say it's like an anonymous question or something. But I do remember the question. So.
Yeah, that might be best. Just say, here's a question from one of our or from one of our Discord members or whatever. So
okay. You're sure you're not seeing it in there? That's weird.
Yeah, no, I'm in our Discord and I went to Patreon thread
question block
and it's empty.
Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll ask it anyway, and we'll just do it.
Yeah,
anonymously.
Good deal. All right. Well, then let me pull up a Lucas. And away we go. Oh, wait. Let me make a note in Audacity so that I don't get sad when I'm editing this. Okay. And away we go.
Infendo Radio is brought to you by people like you. If you want to be a producer, head over to patreon.com/Infendo Radio and sign up at the $10 level. We'd really appreciate it.
And we're back. So let's talk about this question that we got, because we got a question from one of our fine Discord members over on our Discord channel, and Lucas is gonna.
Then they pulled it from the Discord channel, and they didn't think we'd notice, but we did. So we're not going to share the name of the person who asked the question, just in case the reason they pulled it is they didn't like the question. But we're still going to answer it because it's our show and we can do whatever we want. So don't pull it. This question from this anonymous user was, which video game characters are on your video game Mount Rushmore?
That's right. I do remember that one, actually, because I was thinking about it.
I saw it and I was like, what a brilliant question! This man or woman deserves all of my praise! But, yeah, so, I mean, obviously Mario, right? Like,
yeah, it's got to be Mario. So, first question about this question. Is this all Nintendo characters?
Well, I don't remember if the question specified Nintendo or not. I'm going with video game characters because I have some things to say.
Okay.
So,
yeah, well, I'll let you go ahead and go first, and then, yeah, I'll tell you mine.
So as we all know, Mount Rushmore is a four-president statue, at least currently, God willing, that won't change anytime soon. And yeah, Mario has to be on the list, right? Literally like the founding father of modern gaming.
Right.
I would argue, and Eugene, feel free to disagree with me on here, but I would argue that Sonic also deserves a place on that list. He is an iconic, classic video game character that deserves, recognition for being such.
Sure.
I might argue this is going to come out of left field, but I would say that Crash Bandicoot might be my third.
Wow.
Kind of the mascot. Well, kind of the mascot of PlayStation video games, right? The founding father, if you will, of the PlayStation era. And I think that era deserves some recognition for not only being the first era, or the first console rather, to do CD gaming, but just also, I think, a system that introduced a lot of people to gaming that weren't, Nintendo fanboys.
Sure.
And I guess given the theme that I'm doing, like normally I would say something like Link, right? For like Legend of Zelda. But if I'm going to keep it fair and kind of representative of everything, I guess the fourth spot would go to Master Chief, who is kind of the iconic Xbox character, in my opinion.
Sure.
Representative of that subgenre of gaming. So I guess really what I'm saying is you've got Nintendo, you've got Sega, who obviously is no longer a console maker, but was a very big player back in the day. They were kind of the Confederates, right, of the Civil War. They very much lost. They no longer exist. But, they were around for a while, and people don't want to let that go. So
that's why they're getting the statue.
Yeah, so Sonic's on that statue, man. Yeah, and then Crash Bandicoot for PlayStation and Master Chief for Xbox. So
interesting. Okay, so my Mount Rushmore is going to go somewhat similar to yours for similar reasons, because I also have Mario and Sonic on mine.
Oh my, Eugene.
Yeah, I know. I hate
Even
myself
this
too.
many years into our relationship, you still find ways to surprise me.
But I am going to deviate a little bit from your list because I feel that one of the characters that rightfully deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore list is Pikachu, because I feel that Pokemon, and we kind of already touched on this earlier,
yeah,
but Pokemon had such a cultural impact on video games, on like, you know, just everything, you know, like Pokemon was just a phenomenon, you know, so I feel like for sure Pikachu deserves to be on that Mount Rushmore.
if I could speak to that for a second, I've gone back and I've watched videos of, like, you know, the Pokemon craze of 97 or 98 or whatever. When it was like every parent was like, screw Beanie Babies, I gotta get my son a Game Boy, you know? People back then were saying, you know, it's just a phase, it will not last, it's like anything else. I think Pokemon has, and to a large degree Pikachu, has really, you know, cemented the idea for people that video, for better or worse, you know, look at where we are now, but for better or worse, video gaming is its own kind of lifestyle, right? And Pokemon was really the first example of that. So I support that.
I don't know what the question was, but I walked into Pikachu on Mount Rushmore, so...
And you're pretty close to the question. We'll explain it to you after Eugene gives us his fourth.
Yeah, so I guess to catch you up, Justin, we're doing our Mount Rushmores of video gaming. So my Mount Rushmore has Mario, Sonic, and Pikachu, and
Mario, Sonic.
I was struggling pretty hard with who I felt was deserving of the fourth spot on my Mount Rushmore, and I don't know why. It's not like this is like, you know, gonna go in the
This is
Smithsonian
important.
or
This
something.
is going on the Infendo wiki.
So I feel that maybe the character that ought to be up there the most isn't even a character. So I'm going to choose the T block from Tetris, actually. And because I feel that Tetris...
Why not the Z?
Well, because I like the T, dog. That's the best one. Tingle. I feel like Tetris, maybe even more so than, like, you know, your Mario or your Pikachu in Pokemon, has brought a generation of gamers into video gaming, whether they like it or not, right? Because, like, my you know, I have family members that won't play like Mario, but they will play like Tetris or Candy Crush, you know, because they like those type of video games. So I feel like Tetris is kind of the, you know, the forefather of the puzzle type video game. So yeah, there you go.
Respect.
All right, so let me think. I've had less time to think about this than you guys have, but definitely Mario. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know about Sonic, not because I don't respect Sonic as a video game mascot, but I don't think he was as groundbreaking for video games as, you know, he's sometimes treated as. Definitely Pac-Man, though, will have to be up there.
I was debating between Pac-Man and Tetris, actually.
Pac-Man was really kind of the first gaming mascot ever, so he has to be up there.
Do you mock the square pixel that was Adventure?
I want to put Link up there because I think The Legend of Zelda is also a very groundbreaking game. I hate to dominate Mount Rushmore with Nintendo characters, but let's face it,
you're on a Nintendo podcast,
and video games would not be where they are if it weren't for Nintendo. So we'll say Mario, Link, Pac-Man, and see, I'm trying to think of a
Kit from Kid Icarus. Nailed it. All right, moving on to our next question.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a character that like exemplifies modern 3D gaming the way Mario does like 2D gaming.
I would argue that Splatoon was kind of the founding of the new era of Nintendo. So that might be worth a mention in the form of, like, I don't know, Judge or something. But yeah.
Lucas went with Master Chief and I feel that guy might kind of encompass what
that was
modern
where I
3D
was
gaming
leaning.
is.
Was maybe Master Chief, because like that was kind of bringing a whole new genre of gaming to consoles that
Sure.
never really worked before.
We all kind of went with, meaningful characters, but in very different ways, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, the Mount Rushmore can only have 4 spots, so until Trump puts his head as a 4th or a 5th, then I guess we'll.
No, he's going to be the 4th. He's just going to knock off that Lincoln guy. He never did anything important anyway. Yeah, but as always,
welcome to Infendo Political Radio.
Thank you for your questions in the question block. If you would like to ask your own, it used to be a Patreon exclusive, but it is now a free option that anyone can partake in. I don't think we say that enough on this show. Free. If you want to ask a question, just pop into our Discord. There is a question block channel. You should have access to it. And yeah, you can ask us whatever you want. So we've been asked much worse, believe me.
This is true.
Please
go listen
do
to our
not
archives.
make it your goal to ask us the worst questions.
We also reserve the right not to answer any questions we find particularly offensive. So please submit your questions.
100%. Well, thank you everybody who made it this far. We appreciate you. That's it. You made it to the end. Until next week.
Who won the game?
We didn't play a game.
Yeah,
Eugene, edit that out.
Eugene had a chance to get a free point, or Lucas for that matter. So
Yeah, the only game we could think of playing was. It doesn't matter. We'll tell you after the show.
But until next time, we are gonna get out of here, and we will see you on the other side. But before we go away, we wanna, let you know where you can find us when we're not on the show. So, Lucas, where can the people find you?
You can find me at my website, which is chromaticue.com, CHROMATICHUE.com / I regret naming my game something so long and hard to spell. Now I'm going to have to actually make that a URL, like a secret URL that accesses something. You can find me on there. I don't really update it that much, but every now and then I do update my developers blog, since that is where I post most of the info on the game I'm working on. I also have a YouTube channel that I have just been writing scripts for, but not recording, because editing is so hard, guys. But if I ever get around to actually recording the videos I'm planning on making, I'm going to have a lot of content pumping out of there. So go subscribe to me it's not at Lucas Peace on YouTube. Just type it into the search bar. I'm be the guy with the blue mustache and 116 subscribers. You'll know how to find me. I also have a Twitter account, which is at ChromaticQ. No, I'm not spelling that for you again. I just did that. And as I like to mention often on this show, because we are slowly trying to steal all of the listeners from this show to our other show, which is why Steve hasn't been here for a month, you can find me and my good friend Steven on our other podcast, Hyper Voice. It is a Pokemon podcast for people who want to get better at playing Pokemon, but are not competitive and don't know how to be, because we're not really that good at it either, but we'll teach you everything we know. Come listen to that. If there are any Hyper Voice listeners on this show, I do apologize. We did not do a show last week. I will release a statement on that on Twitter, but it's been a rough week for us, so we really needed a little more time to gather our thoughts. We will be back soon with an episode all about the Isle of Armor.
All right, I got to skip out real quick. So follow me on Twitter at InfendoJustin. I also have a difficult to remember and spell website. It's utilidork.com, UTILIDORK. Why? Because we like you. Hey, just splice that in at the end, Eugene. Have a good night, everybody.
Fair. If you want to follow me and everything that Infendo is doing, make sure that you go to @Infendo on Twitter. Follow @Infendo Eugene as well. And, just go to Infendo.com. We already talked about that, but that's where you can go to our Discord. That's where you can find Steven's Discord. That's where you can do all the things. So Infendo.com is the place to be.
I will also mention real quick that if you, actually two things, sorry, Eugene. If you find this podcast way too long and hard to digest, Eugene has done a masterful job of slicing slicing it down into bite-sized morsels that you can digest over on our YouTube channel. So search for us on there, and you can watch right at the start of the game or right at the start of, whatever it is we're doing this week. So
Right.
go check that out. And I would also like to remind everyone, in case you are not aware, because I don't think we mentioned this much on this show, but we are currently donating all of our Patreon subscriptions to the CDC Foundation, I believe is where we're donating it. Somewhere COVID related. Eugene handles all that because he's the grown up in the group. But yes, we are donating that stuff. It is not much of an amount, but every bit helps. So if you've ever wanted to get whatever Patreon bonuses we offer, if you ever wanted to be like Brian and shout news at us in the middle of the show so we can read that like in the middle of, our actual recording, if you want to be that involved with us or just, help the show out too, right now 100% of that's going to a good cause. So there's never been a better time to join us on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Infendo Radio.
And that's 100% true. Thank you for that, Lucas. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here. I hope you guys get out and go vote, do all of the things. If you're out there protesting, being an activist, thank you. That's important right now. We need every voice, every vote counts, all that fun stuff. So go out and do your part. With that, I'll see you guys next week. Catch you all later on.
Stay safe!
Bye-bye. Nice. Well,
I figure I have to change stay inside because we're trying to get people to vote and protest. So,
doesn't make sense anymore, right? Yeah.
But I still don't want anybody to catch the COVID. Did you see how bad it's getting in Florida, man?
Dude, wasn't there like 2,000 cases yesterday or something like that?
It's been 2,000 cases every day for the last week.
Scary, man.
Because we suck at this. We suck at it. So
it's scary. That's scary. New Mexico has nowhere near the population of Florida, so there's nowhere to compare in that. But fuck, I wouldn't leave my room if it was
my parents and my mom and I went grocery shopping last week, and we bought enough groceries for a month because we're we're not going out.
Yeah, no, we've started buying an extra loaf of bread and freezing it type of thing, Anyways, Twitch, we love you. YouTube too, we love you as well because we're on that platform as well again. So
but we love Twitch more. If you'd like to make us love you more, watch us on YouTube.
It's true. You gotta. I'm sorry, but